Everyone knows that Zagreus' goal in Hades is to escape the Underworld. This journey through the realms, governed by his father, is full of tough enemies, traps, and characters that will help us on our way to ancient Greece. However, there are professional fugitives that manage to reach the gates of hell in less time than the duration of this video. How do they do it? How pro players speedrun Hades? Well, let's check it out. To escape Hades' Underworld as fast as possible, the game must be understood as three core pillars: preparation, routing, and boon builds. That last one is complex and would take a lot of time to explain properly, so maybe we'll cover it in the future. So, for now, we'll talk about preparation. We'll see what items Zagreus must carry to ensure a smooth journey through the different realms of the Underworld and what abilities he can profit from. The best companion for the main categories of Hades, any hit and all weapons, is Buddy, Mech's companion. Buddy comes out super fast and deals an enormous amount of damage, which is really handy for boss fights and other scenarios when you want a fight to end swiftly. Next thing we've got to keep in mind is our weapon of choice. For the any hit category, it would be wise to choose whatever you feel comfortable with. But keep in mind there are aspects of these weapons that work better in order to clear chambers faster. In general, using the sword prefers the aspect of Poseidon or Nemesis. If you want to use the shield, the recommended aspect is Beowulf. In case you want to use the spear, the aspect you're looking for is the Achilles one. If you're a bow guy, you must go with Hera. Fists are a thing for Demeter. And if you are the one using the rail, then go with Ares. Using these aspects and profiting from their special passives is key in order to beat Hades as fast as possible. The settings on the mirror in Zagreus' room must be maxed out to optimize the run. This is the setting that I use, which is designed to work on pretty much any weapon of the game. If you feel like you're getting good, you can trade thick skin for high confidence, for example. You can tweak some abilities according to your way of playing, but keep this general overview as reference. You might think that the best hit settings should be no hit at all, but there are some modifiers that actually make the run faster. Extreme measures makes enemies' heads closer together, so it's easier to deal with them, but if you find that bosses are too tough for you, you can turn it off. Forced overtime makes enemies spawn faster, and finally tight deadline deactivates survival rooms, which helps a lot if you are playing in the real-time variable of the category. But Landa, you might say, what does real-time variable mean? Well, we'll detour from the explanation for a bit to cover this up. Hear me out. There are two ways to count time in this game. IGT, or in-game time, which uses the internal clock of the game and passes on certain chambers and in the boon menus, or RTA, or real-time attack, which is just the real-world time that it takes you to complete a run. Got it? Good. Now that we're back, to sum it up, activate forced overtime, extreme measures if you're comfortable dealing with the boss fights, and tight deadline if you're playing in real time. That should be it. The second core pillar, routing, refers to your chosen path to escape the Underworld. Hades' Underworld is divided in 4 realms that Zagreus must cross in order to reach Greece. Here is an overview of each realm and how many chambers they have after the first active combat and before reaching the final boss of the area. As you can see, the Tartarus has 12 chambers, the Asphodel has 6 chambers, the Elysium has 8 chambers, and the Styx, or Stux, or however is it called, has an RNG number of chambers due to obtaining the sack being RNG based. To progress, you must fight in each chamber the various creatures that inhabit the Underworld, but Hades also has 3 rooms that either pause the clock or are fast to traverse. Here's a list of them. There are 3 rooms, the meat shop, fountains, story rooms, and chaos gates. Keep in mind that if a chaos gate appears in the last chamber of the realm, taking it is not advised, as it extends the length of the realm by 1 chamber. And also be sure to check all wells of Charon for the Light of Ixion, which costs 55 gold and secures a chaos gate in the next chamber. Your routing through the different realms in the Underworld is important, but it's also important to navigate the encounter in each chamber. And for that, you must determine the best way to clear the enemies and how to position yourself. The enemy spawn indicators will hint you which route you could take, but keep in mind that enemy spawn manipulation is based on a lot of intuition, improvisation, and ultimately, experience and quick thinking. As a rule of thumb, try to think where you want Zagreus to end up once the chamber is cleared, and try to find a route to clear enemies, so you end up in that position. Another general rule is that enemies do not spawn too far off camera, so standing next to a wall or a corner with Zagreus between waves can manipulate the spawns so they are more centralized and easier to manage. As it happens with most roguelikes, you'll eventually start to recognize chamber layouts and spawn patterns, which will make it easier to optimize the navigation of each chamber. And that would cover how pro players escape the Underworld in Hades. Keep in mind that we've left out the last core pillar of the game, which is the boon building part. It is really important, but as I said before, too complex to cover in this video. There are a lot of guides within the community, and people is often very eager to help. So if you're struggling, be sure to check out Hades Discord or forums in speedrun.com. And maybe, just maybe, we'll release a boon build guide of our own. As always, thank you very much for reaching the end of the video. Be sure to subscribe to Wild Rush, like the video, comment your thoughts, and share it with anyone who might be interested. Until we meet again,